Hey everyone, and welcome to my Iron Man VR review. So I'm just going to go through today some of the good things and some of the bad things that I experienced whilst playing Iron Man VR. First of all, we're going to go through the good parts of the game. Now, besides actually putting on the headset and getting into the Iron Man suit yourself, well, that is an experience. It's like you are Iron Man when you play the game, because your hand movements are everything. When you want to go left, you can either look left and it'll turn you as any other VR game, or you can move your controllers to the sides, and then that will make the different areas. If you pull them up like that, you shoot down. It is pretty awesome, if you ask me. It's like you are flying. It's like, I remember the first time when I played the demo, and it tells you to hold your palms out and then press the trigger buttons to go up, and you just go and it's like, whoa, it blows your mind, really. It's like, that part of it is great, but then once that kicks in, you're like, okay, well, I'm Iron Man now, and it is a little bit tricky to get to that, but I'll get to that in the next part. But yeah, it's like, as being Iron Man, it is great. And another thing I liked about the game was customizing your armor. You can change the paints, which you unlock during different challenges and things like that. But it's like, yeah, you can change the paint. You can add different weapons to your wrist mounts and your arc beam. You've got countermeasures, nanotech. There's lots of different things, and your speed is like, do you want acceleration or do you want overall speed? And well, it's, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, because I did not want to know anything about the game until I played the game apart from the demo. So that was a really nice surprise to be able to change that. You could do the Iron Patriot as well, so that's pretty funny. But that was amazing little touch doing that. Characters, now I loved Friday's character. I thought she was a great little sassy AI, and yeah, it was just a really good thing, and it's good to see the CG look of these different AIs instead of just a voice or turn into vision. Gunsmith is like, I knew his character was horrible from the start, and he just got progressively worse. I'm going to try and do as little spoilers in this as well, just to let you know, but I will warn you if there is a spoiler coming around. But it's like, he is what Tony Stark was before Tony Stark became Iron Man, if you know what I mean. It's like, when he became Iron Man, it changed his whole outlook of life and the way that he acted and things. I'm not just on about the MCU, the film universe. I'm on about the comics and the cartoons and Iron Man. It's like, he was this playboy, philanthropist, cocky person. Yes, he's still a playboy, philanthropist, cocky person, but in a different way. He has changed. He's grown, less self-absorbed and more caring about the world. But moving on to the story, it's like, it was great. You had the start with you trying out the Mark II, so that was really nice on there. And then it was years later where you are an established Iron Man superhero, and your suit is just a suit, and it's like, it hasn't got any major weapons, just your repulsors, until Gunsmith comes along and adds all the weaponization to your armor, which you needed throughout the game. But yeah, it's like, the characters of Ghost, she was good, and Laserface, Living Laser, that was another one. Didn't quite get that character, but he played it well, whatever he was supposed to be, really. Pepper Potts, I've said, is a great character. And Friday is probably my favourite character in the game. Also, when you're flying, you can actually do a boost and things, and when you're like rushing towards the plane in the demo or in chapter 1, it's like you feel a sense of urgency, so you're like got to get to that plane, and then it's like all of a sudden then all these things are coming at you. It's like, well, I can't, I'm flying. But it's like, no, you can bring up one hand, so the other one is behind you, pushing you forward on full throttle, and then this hand, then you can shoot all these different debris or drones that are coming at you. So that's, I like doing all that as well. I like that they brought in some older aspects. There's like one location, you go back to the cave where your Mark 1 actually was built, and you get to find little Easter eggs in there from like the blueprints of it, and you go down memory lane and things like that. So it is a really cool scene, that one. And that one is the last but one chapter. So it's not much of a spoiler, it's just a location. I'm not going to tell you what happens about that, but you do go there and you relive some of those, well, not relive them, but you relive them in your mind. You remember them, and you remember the scientist was you. I can't remember the guy's name now, unfortunately, but that is pretty much my pros of it. It's like, you what more do you need than you are Iron Man? It's like, that's a great thing. It's like you live in it, and yeah, so that is my pros of Iron Man VR. So now going on to the cons, the things I didn't like. Now this is all my personal opinions. It's like, you guys might feel different about all this. First of all, we're going to come into more the technicalities of it, the game play, as you will. I prefer ones where you can move. So when you hold down the center button and you actually walk, and then wherever you look, then you're actually walking too. Like in LA Noire VR, you can do that. I don't like jump controls. So, and this was completely jump controls. So you want to go to somebody, like you look at it and you jump it. But if you kind of look somewhere different, it wouldn't quite pinpoint on that. So you're thinking, you're pointing with your move controller. It's like, that's what I want to go. With the dialogue as well, it's like you're pointing at that and you're clicking on it. But if you move your head slightly, you might go on to the other option and it chooses that option. So you've got to be careful of where you're looking as well as pointing. So that's a little bit... Yeah, that was a disappointing one. And one of the chapters you do, you're in a confined space, and there is no jumping thing on that, and you don't walk. You like use your thrusters to move, and it's like, it's quite a confined space. It's like they could have literally just, for that, instead of thrusts, just had a bit of walking animation, really. And that's all it is that. It's like, whereas the flying, you're like going everywhere. So that is my critique on that. Another one with the controllers is when you activate your wrist mounts and stuff, you got to use your knuckles to point. But sometimes it can't tell that, because obviously it's not looking at knuckles, it's looking at your move controller and the light on the move controller, and that is not a lot of difference really on there. So I think it just needs to just press a button to activate those instead of, because quite a lot often I was trying to use my repulsors, but then it would think that I was using the wrist mounts, and I'm like, no, get it off, or vice versa. So that was another little critique of the actual gameplay and controls of that. One of my major bugs of it was the loading time. Now sometimes you are waiting, I think the longest I waited was about 3.5 minutes. And if you watch the series that I've got on our gaming channel, the link will be in the description below and at the end of the video, I speed them up, and then in later chapters I just completely cut them out. It was good to see, because you could read little tips and things like that on the screen, and also you can flip through. I found later in the game you can flip through on the big screen at the front to look at what you need to do to unlock certain paints for your armor. But I feel it took a long time, some of them, and when there was multiple loadings in one chapter, it did get a little bit tedious when you're just standing there with his headset on and just like there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, then after the loading screen, Tony's voice would come in, and it'll be a black screen, with his voice. Why couldn't they have put that dialogue over the loading screen? So then it's cutting a little bit in, because then what they're doing is extending the load in, really. So that is something I wasn't majorly fussed on with that. And for some reason, at one point, they changed the actual loading bar. Instead of the circular loading bar, they brought in this scrolling loading bar, which is a bit odd if you ask me. It's like, just stick to one. Understandable when you're using a different type of armor. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but you get a new set of armor towards the end, and that comes up with a different loading screen. But that's the loading to go into that armor. Whereas with the other armors, you had the HUD thing coming all like that. This one had a bit of a scrolling thing, and all small different things going on. But yeah, it's like, that was a bit strange if you ask me. So I did cut those out of there, and that moves on then to game times. Like when I first ordered it, I looked how many chapters it was going to be, how long is it going to be, and they said 12 chapters. So there is 12 chapters, but there's also the prologue, so technically 13 chapters. And then at the end of the game, you can go back and do some redo the missions or some side missions, stuff like that. But there's mainly 13 chapters, and it said anything between 12 and 15 hours. Now, some of the chapters were literally 15 minutes long, and that is it. And it would literally be, you're just in the mansion, and that would be the mission, that you were there doing something in the mansion, and maybe you'll pop outside then to test out your new rockets or whatever. And it's just like, that could have been added in to another chapter, I think, or bring all this stuff into ones. When Gunsmith does weaponize your armor, he weaponizes the full thing, and the whole mission then is like, oh, let's test out these, and then the unibeam move is like going, oh yeah, boss, check out this, boof, like that. And then it's like they might have 2 or 3 tutorials, and it's just like, oh, like halfway through the game you're still doing tutorials. It's like, it's a bit annoying. But then you do have some chapters then that are about 50 minutes long, 50 minutes long. I think there's about 2 or 3 of those. Not too many, there's about 2 or 3. But yeah, some missions were a bit slow, and others were manic. Everything was going on everywhere. But that was my only critique, really, was the loading times and the little tiny missions of that. And going on to story now, you could suss out the whole story within the first few chapters. Gunsmith's characters, like, you knew full well from the start that something was wrong with him, without going into too much detail on that. But I see what they've done. It's like, it's a very simplistic story just to get the game, because everything else is, all the gameplay and things like that is very technical, the way that they've done everything, because it's in VR. But the story did lack a little bit here and there, but overall it's like, I did enjoy the story, like I said earlier. But there was just a few things I felt okay. But overall, guys, it's like, I loved it. It's like I was Iron Man, and you could see through my eyes that this is what was happening and stuff. And it's like, I could fly, I could fire rockets, I could use my repulsors as weapons, I could punch things. And it's like, it was a great game like that. And yes, the characters were good. It's like, some were a bit naff, like Laserface, as I call him. He was a bit pointless. He wasn't pointless, but he was a bit strange, really. The controls were a little bit difficult to get hold of. Sometimes it's like, with the moving like that, it's like, it is difficult to try and get you to go exactly where you want to go and things, but that would just be me. I think that I couldn't control it that well. As probably people out there who would, like, flipping around and going like that, really good. But yeah, that is my real opinion on it. Is it worth the money? It's £30. Yes, it is definitely worth it. It's so overall, it's like, I took 3 days to play it, but I was playing it constantly. I'd done about 3 to 4 hours a day, so it's about 10 hours of gameplay, I would say. for the whole thing. So yes, I totally think it is worth £30. Is it worth just going out just to get a PlayStation VR just for Iron Man? Probably not. I would say it's like, have a look at other games, and if there are more than 3 games that you want to play in VR, then get a PlayStation VR, because it is quite expensive. Even though it's come down a lot since its launch, it is still quite an expensive piece of kit. Now, whether it's going to be able to be used on the PS5, the verdict is still out on that. I think it is going to be, because obviously it's black and white, just like a PS5. You want to have the Iron Man stuff on it. I added that just for a bit of fun. I say if there's more than one game, then go for it. It's like, I really enjoy Skyrim VR. I enjoy No Man's Sky in VR. There's quite a few little shoot-em-up games you can get as well, which are really good. The experiences, like the Spider-Man experience, the Martian experience, and Astro Boy as well. That's pretty good as a family game, because you can play not just with the VR, but other people can play with the controllers with you, so they don't have to have a VR headset on. So personally, I think a VR headset is worth the money, but only if you are interested in some of those games. Obviously, not a lot of people can actually use VR. I know somebody who they have severe migraines with it. I have to wear my glasses to actually play VR, otherwise I can't see anything. It's like if you're reading something here, it's like you want to kind of like bring it back here, but no, your character will hold it there. So yeah, I've got to wear my glasses, which reminds me, I better go back to the opticians to try and sort out a new pair of glasses. So yeah, definitely worth it if you got a PlayStation VR. If you haven't, have a look at other games to see if there's more than just one game that you want to get, and then get the PlayStation VR. But I want to know whether you are actually interested in buying the game, or whether you've got the game. What do you think about it? What's your loadout as well? Because you can do different loadouts of your Iron Man armor. I want to know your favorite loadout. Just pop them in the comments. We also have a tipping site, so if you want to support us even more, then just pop onto the website, which is in the description, also on the screen now, and just send us a little tip. It's a low price of a coffee, but you don't have to. If you just want to share it as well, that greatly helps us out. And also, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and the notification bell. We do these review videos and reaction videos at a spur of the moment all the time, but we try to keep you updated on our community page on YouTube and also on our social medias. But that is it for me. Come back tomorrow for another Disney Plus video, and we've got Johnny VR on our gaming channel. Again, the link will be at the end of the video and in the description for his videos. And we've got more Iron Man coming on Saturday on the gaming channel. But until next time.